Where is the PPT? Yeah, this should be the PPT. Can you hear me? Just please confirm if you're if my screen is visible and if I am audible, so that uh, can you please confirm in the chat box? Am I audible? Okay, fine. Then let's continue. So yesterday's session is this one. We just started discussing about operators. So we started with the arithmetic operators yesterday, and then what else we did? And also we discussed about relational operators. Okay, we'll continue with this, and then so we'll try to complete this language fundamentals. So apart from operators, we need to understand control statements. Okay, so let's continue. Assignment operators. What is this assignment? Assigns a value to a variable. So we have generally we can do this in two ways. So this is direct assignment, which we are doing it every day in our sessions. So this is direct assignment. The another one is shorthand notation, something like a plus equal to 1, something like this. This is the shorthand notation. Okay. Similarly, this assignment can be applied with almost all the arithmetic operators. Okay. So this is a quick idea. Assignment is nothing but it just assigns a value to a variable. That is one thing. And second thing is it has a shorthand notation. Shorthand means something like the same thing. We can just simplify it. Okay. This is also a kind of assignment. But the difference is in a shorthand notation, we are incrementing a value here and then assigning the same value to the variable, something like this. So var plus equal to a means var equal to var plus a, something like this. Let me just quickly show you, explain in the notepad. Let me, I'm showing here. Suppose assignment, this is the assignment, some a equal to some 10. Some, as this is Java, we need to declare data type, some int a equal to 10. So we are assigning a value to a variable here. So there is another form of assignment, shorthand notation, something like a plus equal to some 1. What do you mean by this? A equal to a plus 1. So when you expand it, it becomes a equal to a plus 1. This is shorthand notation. Even this is also an assignment where here we are incrementing the value of a by 1. Suppose if a is 10 and if you want to increment this by 1, the shorthand representation for this is a plus equal to 1. Suppose if you want to increment by 2, a plus equal to 2. If you want to increment by 3, a plus equal to 3, something like this. So in every case, what happens here? The value of a is incremented by 1 here, and that result is assigned to the same variable. It's a kind of assignment again. And this is called shorthand notation. So when you expand this, this becomes a equal to a plus 1. And here also, when you expand this, what happens here? This becomes a equal to a plus 1. And here also, when you expand this, this becomes a equal to a plus 3, something like this. So this is shorthand, and this is expanded form. Okay, and this is called assignment. And this assignment is not just applicable only for plus. You can apply this for minus. You can apply this for into, or you can apply this for all arithmetic operators. So it's not like it is just specific to only some plus or minus. Okay, this is a quick idea about assignment of shorthand. Okay, assignment through shorthand operators. This is clear. The next one. So that's all about assignment operator. What it does is assigns a value to a variable. Maybe if you want, you can just quickly test these examples, or we can skip it because there is nothing much here to get worried here, because these are all simple things. So you can just have a clear idea here. Next, after this, once we complete assignment, we can jump to the next one. Relational is done. And logical. Logical means what logical does, friends, here it combines two conditions. Suppose you have two conditions, you should combine those two conditions. We apply logical. So when we talk about logical operators, we have all this. So what we have here? We have logical and logical or and logical not. And means when should we apply this? This is and. This is a logical or, and this is not. Okay, this is not here. And here we use symbols. We don't use keywords in Java. So what AND does here? AND is used to combine two or more conditions. So what AND operation does? Combines two or more conditions. OR also does the same. But the difference is when you apply AND, every condition in that expression should be true if the AND operation has to be true. So point one here, these two, this and OR, they are used to combine conditions. So what they does, they combine conditions. That is one thing. Second thing is, so usually the syntax look like this. Suppose here, if it is and some condition one, ampersand condition two, it keeps going on. Okay. Condition two and dot dot dot. And here, if the whole operation has to be true, if this must be true, every condition in this expression should be true. That is AND operation. So for example, you take a couple of values, A equal to 10, some B equal to 5. You take anything of your choice. It's not like you should take only these values. So A greater than B and A greater than C. Okay. So here, if our AND operation should be true, this whole operation should be true, then here both the conditions in this expression must be true. A should be greater than B and A should be greater than C. Then only this whole operation is true. Okay, this is what is this, friends? This is how AND operation works. Next, OR operation. OR means something like this. So A greater than B, or you can just take some B greater than C. So here, if any one condition is true here, then it's sufficient for this or to be true, the whole or operation to be true. So for or, at least one condition in the given expression has to be true. Not every condition need to be true. One is to be true, or or each condition can be true. If all conditions are true, then still R is true. But here, not every condition need to be true if the whole or operation should be true. If just one condition is true, then that's enough, friends. Not every. So that's a simple OR operation. So what is OR here? You have multiple conditions in an OR operation. If one condition is true, then the whole OR operation is true. That is OR here. And the last one is not. Not means generally it is used for negation, something like this, not of A greater than B. And this condition returns some Boolean value, true or false. Suppose if this condition returns true, not of true, when you apply not on that, it gives opposite of that. It gives a false. Okay, so this is how this logical operator works here. how this logical operator works. So and if and must be true, each condition in the given expression must be true. If R must be true, at least one condition in the given expression should be true. And not gives negation. So this is a quick idea about logical operators. So no need to test it because these are simple. So when we do this decision making statements, we are going to apply all this. I hope this is clear for all of you friends. Okay. So this is a quick idea, and then let's move to the next topic. Where is that? Logical operator, and then increment and decrement operators. Okay, what do we do now? Increment and decrement. So let's do this quickly. So these are called unary operators. The next topic we are doing here is what we say is unary. Unary operators. What is an unary operator? An operator applied on a single operand. So here we have plus plus and minus minus. Unary means single operator applied on single operand. So here we have two types of unary operators, plus plus and minus minus. Plus plus is called incrementation. Okay. And minus minus is called decrementation. This is decrementation. So what plus plus does? Increments the value of variable by 1. So here this increments the value of any variable by how much? Increments by 1. Similarly, minus minus decrements by 1. So if it is minus minus, this decrements by 1. So the difference is one does addition, one does subtraction. Okay, let's take a small example, a plus plus. Okay, if you take the example of a plus plus, some a equal to 10, and you applied incrementation on that, then the value of a becomes how much here? After incrementing, a becomes 11 here. Okay, similarly, if you take the example of minus minus, suppose a minus minus, after that you are applying minus minus on this, then the value of a decrements by 1. So after doing decrementation, a becomes a 10. This is a simple idea about incrementation and decrementation. Got it, friends? So if you can quickly test it if you wish. So what you can see here, let me just show you. Just trying to open the Eclipse. So here, if you see here, I'm just trying to check, show you new class unary ops. Okay, now add main in this and then just take one variable a equal to 10. You can do in multiple ways. Either you can assign this incrementation to some variable. Sorry, not needed. A plus plus and then system dot out dot println of a. So what do you do now? You are incrementing a and then you are printing it. Of course, I didn't declare those variables. So first declare a data type. Okay. Then print it. So this is simple idea. Now after incrementing, what would be the value of a? It will be 11 here. It is 11 here. Suppose you decrement this a minus minus, then what happens now? Here, in this case, the value of a becomes again mm, a minus minus, then it decrements the value of a by 1. So here, this will be 10. So this is a quick idea about incrementation and decrementation. Maybe you can ask me a quick question. There are different forms of incrementation. You can see here. So here you have, there is a lot of confusion for many people here with this a plus plus. This is post incrementation. This is plus plus a. This is pre incrementation. A equal to a plus 1. This is full form or expanded form. Anything what we say full form. Okay, full form doesn't have big confusion because this is easy for everyone to understand. So what is happening? We are we are incrementing the value of a by 1, and that result is assigned to this variable a. So this is the full form. A plus plus is post and a plus plus a is a pre-incrementation. And one more is, what is that one more kind of incrementation? Shorthand, a plus equal to 1. So either shorthand or post incrementation or pre incrementation, internally when expanded, all this becomes a equal to a plus 1. Okay, all kinds of incrementation gets converted into a full form in memory, and the operation is implemented. But there are slight changes between post and pre incrementation. So if you want to get a clear idea, post incrementation means what? Suppose uh, let's take an example. So you understand this post and pre incrementation only if you assign the result to some variable. You understand the clear difference. Let me show you that difference quickly. Suppose if it is post incrementation, take an example. I'm just giving you a quick idea between post incrementation and pre incrementation. Suppose you take a variable a equal to 1 and comma b. You tell me the answers now, okay? I say b equal to a plus plus now. So now this is post incrementation. Okay. Now after incrementing, after this statement is executed otherwise. So after the statement is executed, what is the value of a and what is the value of b here? Okay. What is the value of a and what is the value of b here? Can anybody guess here? So when you see a plus plus, definitely incrementation happens on this. No doubt, always a becomes 2. So then b, what is the value of b here? So is it 1 or is it 2? Is the question now. So this gives you a clear idea what is post and what is pre. So this is post incrementation. You have just created an expression like this. So you just said like b equal to a plus a. So now tell me what is value of a, what is value of b here? B equal to a plus plus. This is little confusion here. So because it took so much of time in the beginning to understand this clear difference between post incrementation and pre incrementation. Not now. When I was learning this program, okay, some in 2005 or 2004 something. I'm saying that. Okay. So what's your answers? Most of us think A is 2 and B is 2, right? Most of us think A is 2 and B is 2, but it won't be like that. So A is 2. Remember, a blind tip for you is on whichever variable we apply this incrementation. that definitely gets incremented, no doubt about it. But whether the value of B is same as A or it will be different depends on kind of incrementation you are applying. Whether you are applying post incrementation or pre incrementation. Post incrementation means first assign value to left side operand. First assign value of right operand to left one. So don't increment first. Post means do do assignment first and then increment. So I just give a quick statement here. Do assign and increment. This is the statement of post incrementation. So what this will do? First, the value of A gets assigned to B. What is the value of A? It is 1. That gets assigned to B. There is a lot of confusion for some many people here. This is so simple to understand. If you understand, no more confusion. The value of A is 1. So when you print it after this operation, B is 1 and A is 2. Many of us thinks that both A is 2 and B is 2 because A is incremented so that A is 2 and B is 2. There are in many interviews, people ask questions like this. Many of us will answer this as a right answer, but actually the answer is this. This is post incrementation. First assign the value of A to B and then increment. Let me just quickly show you here. So here if you see, okay, let's do this. Take one more variable, comma B. So B equal to A plus plus. We are printing A, right? Then print B also. System dot out dot println B. Now run this. What do we have here now? So A is what? 11, but B is 10 here if you see here. Or otherwise, as per our example, let's give as A as 1 and B as is. So what is the expectation? A will become 2 and B is still 1. So let's run this. So if you see here, A is 2, but B is 1. Observing this is post incrementation. Suppose if you reverse it, this is post incrementation. Are you clear with this, friends? All of you are good here? Are you good with this? So did you understand this post incrementation? Okay, let me just talk about pre incrementation. Suppose this is plus plus A. Now here I say B equal to plus plus A. Assume that A is 1 and B is nothing. Now you say B equal to plus plus A. This is post incrementation. What is the statement it follows? First increment. First increment and assign. This is the principle of pre-incrementation. In case of pre-incrementation, assignment doesn't happen first. First, it tries to increment itself first. So what is the value of A here? The value of A is 1. First, the value of A gets incremented and then assigns. So the difference is here A becomes 2, comma B becomes 2. Why? In case of pre-incrementation, first it increments and then assigns. So that here the value of A is 2 and B is 2. Now you see a clear difference. If it is post incrementation, if it is the same operation, the value of A is 2 and B is 1. If it is pre-incrementation, the value of A is 2 and B is 2. This is the big difference between post incrementation and pre-incrementation. So let us test it. Here, instead of plus plus A, you try to put instead of A plus plus, just add here plus plus A. Now what happens, friends? You see here, you print A and B. Now both A and B are here, 2 and 2. Here A will be 2 and B will be 2. Save this and then run this. So that's the idea about this. You can see here, both are 2 here. Suppose if you flip this operation, what is this here? A will be still, what is this friends? A is 2, B is 1. But in case of pre-incrementation, A is 2, B is 2. So I believe you got a clear difference between post and pre-incrementations. I believe you are clear with this post and pre-incrementation. All of you are clear, friends. Are you able to get this? Clear for everyone? Clear, friends? Yeah. If you have any questions, still you can confirm those. If you have any confusion, you can ask me at the end of this session again. Okay, thank you. So what do we do right now? We will switch to the next topic. What is our next topic here? So with this, we are able to complete operators. What we do is we will switch to the next topic, decision making statements. So what is that? Decision making statements. So, or let me just give like this, otherwise it's better to have control statements. So, what is control statement? Control statement controls the execution flow of a program. What it does? It controls the execution flow of a program. So, usually the program executes from top to bottom in a line by line approach. But sometimes we need to change this execution flow by using this kind of language constructs. And control statements is one such thing. So here we have all this here, friends. So one is a decision making statement, and then loop control statements, and then case control statements. Okay. So these are all different types of control statements what we have in Java. Okay, same thing will be there in many languages in C, CPP, Java, C Sharp, all these traditional languages. In Python, we don't have case control statements. We don't have do while, but here we have many things in Java. Let's have a quick idea about all these control statements in today's session. If possible, we try to get a quick idea in today's session. So decision making means what? Checks whether a condition is true or false. Let's start with decision making. All of you are able to test this example here. Are you able to check this difference between pre-incrementation and post-incrementation? Are you good with this? So all of you are good with this, friends. Right. You are good. Then we will switch to the next topic. Okay. Next one. Decision making. Decision making means what? Simply saying. All most of you know this. If I am not wrong, it checks whether a condition is true or false. Is true or false. Okay, that's what decision making statement is. We have if, if else. These two are decision making statements. Again, inside if we have simple if, multiple if, and nested if. So likewise, we have simple if, and second one is multiple if, and then nested if. Again, in if else we have simple if else. What do we have here? Team. Simple if else, and then multiple if else, and then nested if else. Or we can call this as a else if ladder. This nested if else we can also convert this to else if ladder. The last one is here we have else if ladder, what we call elif in Python. Okay, so these are all decision making statements. So anything, if it is if, or if it is if else, or if it is else if ladder, everything has a has to start with if only. All these are if constructs, and there is a slight change here, slight addition with if. Along with if you will be this will be added with else part. That's all. But it's always if which checks the condition. It's always if. It's always if which checks the condition. So that's why if is called conditional statement, not only here in any language. So if you see here anywhere, if you observe, it is the if construct or if statement which checks the condition, not the else. Else is just like a complementary following the if statement. Okay. So what if does is it checks whether condition is true or false. And we will just quickly test this. Simple if means only one if. Only one if. Multiple if means more than one if. So I'm just going little. Okay, I'm trying to cover it up. Okay, in little less time because we have to switch to the Selenium. So I'm trying to be more clear and also trying to complete this. Not spending more time on each thing. Okay, what is multiple if? More than one if. Nested if means if within if. This is a quick idea about these three. And same thing is applicable for if else. If else means what, friends? Only one if. Simple if else means only one if else. Sorry, only one if else. Similarly, so what is multiple if else? Multiple if else. More than one if else. And third one is nested if else means if else within if else. If else within if else. This is nested if else. Okay, this is a quick idea about decision making statements. Now, let us see an example for each type and first see the syntax first. So, for anything, if it is simple, if the syntax look like this, if some condition and then opening braces are statements and then closing braces are. and 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 uh, and you have to end each statement with semicolon. This is very important in in Java. So this is called end of statement, and this is the syntax. You should have a block for each construct like this. For if or while or any function or any class, we should have a block which is created with opening and closing braces. A block has opening and closing braces, and this is a simple if statement, simple if syntax. So what is that? If condition. And here, if you look at this, so the execution flow will be like this. You pass a condition here. This if checks that condition. If the condition is true, this block under that if gets executed. If the condition is false, the execution of this block is skipped. This is simple if. Okay, we'll just see a quick example. Maybe you can also check them parallelly along with me. Okay, if you wish, what you can do, you can test them along with me. So that's the quick idea. So next, let's take a small example. I'm just taking for to test this simple if I'm taking greatest of two numbers. So I'm just naming this as great. That's all. So this is the example is great, and then keeping main inside this. And now what is that? Take two variables a10 int a equal to 10 and b equal to 5. Now what do I do? If a greater than b. This is a simple program for simple if. So I took two variables and I am comparing them with a condition. So here simple if means just one if. So I just took only one if here. And what I'm doing, friends, I'm just trying to uh, print it. Suppose in this program, if this condition is true, this means what, friends? Means the value of A is bigger than B. And what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to say that here, so here, simply speaking, A is bigger than B. And then I'm just trying to print the value of A. So if I should print it in this print statements in Java, so apart from the string you declare here, you have to concatenate your result with the plus. I will explain about how to use this print statement a little later once we get a quick idea about string concept. Okay, I'll talk about concatenation operator. So I think I missed that. So at the end of this decision making statements, I'll come back with concatenation operator. Then you will get a clear idea how to apply this plus in this print statement. But for now, just remember when you are printing, apart from the string you declare, if you want to add any value to that, if you want to append any value along with string and or print any value along with string, use plus operator. So this is what we should do. This is simple if. What happens in simple if? Nothing. If you run this, if you see here, you get the output like this. Here the condition is true, then it executes the block. Suppose if condition is false, run this, then you don't get any output because in simple if we get the output only if condition is true. And also we just have only one if here. And in this case, if condition is true, then only we see the output. If condition is false, we don't see any output here, friends. Okay, so this is how simple if works. This is a quick idea about simple if. Now, let's check with the multiple if. What is multiple if? More than one if. More than one if. Let us check the same example for multiple if. Here the syntax is almost same. Here it will be like this multiple if. How would it be? It's simple, friends. Condition one syntax. You can also test along with me parallelly. Please don't wait for me to ask you to test it. Keep testing along with me. So multiple if means more than one if. And the syntax look like this. If condition one statements, and then if condition two statements, and you can add how many ever if statements you want. That many if conditions you can apply. So this is syntax. And the execution flow here, your compiler checks each and every condition. So here, it's not like if this is true, then this is skipped, or if this is true, the above one is skipped. So here, compiler checks each and every condition, whether it is true or false. If condition one is true, execute it and go to condition two. And if condition two is true, execute it, go to condition three. Suppose if condition one is false, still skip the condition one and then go to condition two. Okay, skip the if block and go to condition two. So in that way, here in case of multiple if, each and every condition is validated. What happens here? Each and every condition is validated, friends. So this is a quick idea about what shall I say, multiple if. Let us just see an example on this. What is that example? The same program. Let's rewrite this for multiple if. Here we have updated it for simple if. But you know the limitation of simple if the condition is false, we don't see any result. But to overcome this limitation, what do we do now? Add one more if under that. Now, when you have two if statements, we are covering both scenarios. What if A is greater than B? What if B is greater than A? We are trying to cover both scenarios. Now you took two if statements. If A is greater than B, then what is the difference? A is bigger than B. Then print B. Else if so, suppose one more is there here. Now we have one more if statement. These are multiple if statements, right? So what do we do right now? If B greater than A. Okay. So now what do you add here? You say B is bigger than A and print B. So this is how multiple if can be used. So now in this, by using multiple if, we are able to validate all possible scenarios to find greatest of two numbers. Okay, we are able to see if A is greater than B, and similarly, we are able to see if B is greater than A. In this way, we are able to check both the condition frames. I hope this is clear for all of you. Now let's run this. Definitely, in this case, the first condition is false, so it will go to the second condition, and then this gets executed because the value of B is 50, A is 10. So when you run this, which if gets executed? Either the first if or second if. Second if, because the first if will be validated, but this is false, then it will go to the second if statement. So when you run this, see here, you get B is bigger. Suppose put A as 100, run this. So A is bigger than B. This is 100. Now you see here. Now A is bigger than B, then it validates the first one. This is true. And this first if block gets executed. Okay, that's it, friends. This is idea about multiple if. Understood? Just a minute. Sorry, friends. So this is idea about this one. Let's run this now. I think we have seen both scenarios. Okay. This is about multiple if. And next one, nested if. The third scenario is nested if within if. It looks like this. If condition one, okay, and then again inside this, one more condition. Condition two, again inside this, if you want, you can add one more. And this we can keep on adding one if within another if. Again inside that one more if. So that is nested if. Okay. So this is a quick idea. And if within if is a nested if. And here the execution flow is, if the outer condition is false, then we cannot get to inside to the inner condition. So if in case of nested if the inner condition should be true, before that outer should be true. So okay, let us take few examples to test this nested if and multiple if with the greatest of three numbers. Suppose you take an example, A equal to 10, B equal to 50, comma C equal to some 30, something like this. Now you want to validate this greatest of two numbers. And how do you validate? So in here, if it is multiple if, in case of this, each and every, we need first three blocks here, friends. And before that, here you have to compare A with B and A with C. Similarly, B with A and B with C. Similarly, C with A and C with B. So in this case, what here we need three different if blocks. First block to validate A, second block to validate B, third block to validate C. So what do you do now? Here, We need to use logical operators to combine these two conditions, multiple conditions. If A greater than B and A greater than C. So then what? You say A is bigger than B. If B greater than A and B greater than C, then you say B is bigger than. So you don't say bigger than B. Just remove this. B is bigger. Just say A is bigger because we are finding which is biggest of three numbers. So you can simply say B is bigger. And you take one more if construct, friends. So to test this greatest of three numbers. And here, in the third example, what do you do? You say B greater than C greater than A and then C greater than B. So, okay. So this is how you find greatest of three numbers using what is this, friends? Using this multiple if. So the same thing we will rewrite for nested if as well. But understand how this, you know, multiple if works here with the greatest of three numbers. And here you need to take three variables, compare each variable with the other two. And yes, for that, how many blocks are needed means it depends on number of variables you have in the code. If you have four variables, I believe you need how many blocks here? You need four blocks. If you have five variables, you need five blocks. Likewise, you need to do the comparison. Okay. But here, what you do now, based on the values, looking at the values, you can usually conclude, even though all these three conditions are validated, only one condition will be true. And one condition, one if block gets executed. Which if block is that? Is it the first one, second one, or third one? Obviously, it goes to the second one. The first one is false, 10 greater than B. Here itself it is false. And your compiler never tried to check this condition at all. It doesn't take any interest to go and check this condition, second condition. You know why? In case of AND operations, if one condition is false, that is enough to conclude the whole operation is false. Again, you don't need to go here and check this condition again. You got it, friends? And coming to the second one. So here B greater than A is true and B greater than C is true. So this block gets executed. And again, the third block is false because C greater than A is false. So C, what is C here? Sorry, this is true. And C greater than B, 30 greater than 50 is false. So this is even, so even this is also false. And then this block is not executed. Only this block gets executed. Let us run this. You get the output B is bigger. Make a change to this print statement to C is bigger because here we are focusing to validate C here. Okay. So update this to C. So B is bigger. Suppose you change the value of C to 300 and run this, you should see C is bigger. Suppose if the value of A is some thousand and now you run this, you should get A is bigger. So this is quick idea about greatest of three numbers using multiple if, friends. Greatest of three with the multiple if. Same thing, let us rewrite this with nested if. What do we do? Let's rewrite this with the nested if. So it's a simple thing. Nested if means the same programs what we did for multiple if, we can split it into for nested if. Here, instead of AND operation, you can push this into the, of course, use braces because this is not Python. You can see here. So what we did, we have pushed these two conditions one into another. Here, as we know, if one, if this should be executed, this inner if block should be executed, both these conditions should be true. First, this has to be true, and then this has to be true. Then we can conclude A is bigger. So nested, this is nested if. You kept one. You have split your conditions into nested ifs. Now, if you see here, What your compiler does, first it validates first condition. If it is true, gets it to the second, and this is true, then prints the and executes this print statement. So this is how you can create nested if. Okay, similarly, you can split this as well. So a greater b greater than a if okay, and then just add braces here. Okay, this is second one, second nested if, and third again split this again. Apply nested if for the third one. So we just need to push down those conditions one into another. That's all. We don't need to do big changes to this code. Okay, and then this is the third one. So you can see here the same program which you try to do with multiple if, you are able to recreate it for nested if with some slight changes. The only difference between the previous example and this example is in the previous example, we had logical operators, but the same thing we can rewrite without using logical operators using nested if like this. You can see here. And the output is same. Whichever is big, that gets executed. Suppose if now A is bigger, so the first condition is true, then it comes to the second condition. Then this is also true, then it prints this print statement. But in the case of remaining other two if blocks, both will become false at some point. So we don't see any output from the other blocks, other if blocks. So this is a quick idea about what is this nested if statements in Java. So if you run this, so the while this becomes true, the first one is executed, the other two will get obviously fail. So this will be failed and this will be failed. We don't see output from the rest of these two blocks, but the first block gets true. So let's run this. You can see here A is bigger and 1000 is printed. Similarly, if you want, you can validate for B and C. This is a quick idea about greatest of three numbers, and we have covered all these three. Simple if, excuse me, multiple if, and nested if. I hope this is clear for all of you friends. All of you are good, or am I just going like that? Is it clear for all of you? Able to follow? What we do is tomorrow we'll complete this else if else and if else if ladder and switch to the loops. Okay, friends. So this is for today. So I hope you are getting enough time to practice and you are also able to understand what we are doing in the sessions, right? Anybody has any doubts? Any doubts, friends? No doubts. Okay. All of your crystal, it's clear and easy to understand. Okay, keep practicing whatever that takes to make sure you are clear and understandable and perfect. We'll do that and we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. If you don't have any questions, I will close this. Okay, Teams.